Alright, I'm going to do a quick rundown, probably not that quick. This is the Integumentary System Notes Lecture. Alright, so what we're going to do is just fill in this document. So hopefully you already have it open. Okay, so there's quite a bit of things and features we need to know about the integumentary system, and so that includes skin, hair, and nails. So without further ado, we'll start at the top. Okay, so our skin is composed of 3 main layers, and you may have heard them before. The first one, which is the most superficial, is the epidermis. The next layer is the dermis, and the last one is the hypodermis. If we're looking at this diagram, this top part that appears to be kind of peeling off a little bit is the epidermis. Everything that is pink with all of the stuff inside is the dermis, that middle layer, and then this yellow spongy looking stuff is the hypodermis. And a lot of the hypodermis is fat tissue, and we'll get to that also as we go down. Okay. So starting with the epidermis. Okay. The epidermis it also has 5 layers within that. And you'll need to know the names of these specific layers, and you'll need to know them in order from superficial to deep or deep, but just in order of how they occur. The first layer is called the stratum corneum. The third layer is the stratum granulosum. And at this level, so we're working our way deeper, this is where cells start to become flattened, they start to die. The next layer down, almost the deepest of the epidermis, is the stratum spinosum. And this is where cells begin to flatten out and keratin levels rise. Keratin is that protein that's in our skin that allows it to be hard. It's the same thing that our fingernails are made out of. It's the same thing that your hair is made out of. And interestingly enough, it's the same thing that whale teeth are made out of. So that was random, but there you go. The last layer, the deepest layer here, is the stratum basal, or stratum basal. The first layer, the top layer, the most superficial, has these finger-like projections from the superior surface. That's these finger-like projections. That's these wiggly parts. And those are from free nerve endings. The other thing is it has touch receptors. Those are called Meissner's corpuscles. So that's the name of touch receptors. And then additionally are the sweat pores. So that is it for the superficial layer, and we also call that the papillary layer. All right, okay, the reticular layer, the next layer down. Here are some things that are inside the reticular layer. So it keeps the skin hydrated and it provides elasticity and durability, so that's why like your skin can stretch and move and do all of the things that it needs to do. In the reticular layer are blood vessels, there are sweat glands, oil glands. Okay, so these two terms, the touch receptors are called Meissner's corpuscles. The deep pressure receptors are the Peyssinian corpuscles. And it contains collagen and elastic fibers. So that's it for the dermis. The hypodermis, aka subcutaneous tissue. Okay, it's adipose. Adipose is another term for fat. It anchors skin to underlying organs. It's kind of just like connective tissue, right? So it keeps your skin connected to your body. Okay, we'll scroll down, look at some other features of skin. Okay, other features of skin. Skin contains a pigment called melanin. It's found in the stratum basal, so that's all the way in the deepest layer is where melanin is found. Melanin gives skin its color. White, yellow, brown, black, and a combination of those different pigments give you your overall skin tone. Melanin is produced by specialized cells called melanocytes. It protects DNA from UV radiation. Which means they produce more melanin, where like my ancestors are all from England. In the stratum corneum and subcutaneous tissue. The next determining factor is the amount of oxygen-rich hemoglobin in dermal tissues. And the last one is kind of just depends on the day sort of a thing. Skin colors can change from day to day, moment to moment, due to this last thing, and that is emotion. Emotion and, well, and something less exciting, but disease. Emotion and disease can affect skin color. Okay, and these are examples of that. So redness, your skin can turn red if you're embarrassed, or if you have some sort of inflammation or allergies or hypertension, so that's high blood pressure. So when your blood pressure is higher, there's more blood towards the surface of your skin, making it seem red. Pale or blanching is like if you get really scared or angry. The paleness is due to low blood pressure or impaired blood flow. So jaundice is a liver disorder, and it excess in bile pigments, so that kind of turns your skin like a yellowish orange color. Bruises, obviously, that's blood escaped from blood vessels. A hematoma is essentially a blood clot, or low vitamin C can give you an increased risk for bruising as well. Okay, I think that's it for that one. Okay, cutaneous glands. Okay, these are all exocrine. Exocrine, so these are glands that lead out. Okay, there's two types. We have subcutaneous glands, and those would be things like oil glands. They're all over. We have them absolutely everywhere except for the palms of the hand and the soles of the feet. You don't have oil glands. You do have sweat glands, which your hands can get sweaty, which I'm sure we've all experienced. But these oil glands, ducts, actually empty into hair follicles. So that's why you don't find them on the palms of your hand, because there's no hair on the palms of your hand. Okay? It secretes sebum. So sebum is the oily stuff. And here are some functions of sebum. So it lubricates, keeps skin soft, prevents hair from becoming brittle, kills bacteria. It's active when there are high levels of male hormones, so it's testosterone. Okay, sweat glands. These are called sudoriferous glands. Okay, and of these you have about 2.5 million. Okay, there are two types of sweat glands. We have eccrine sweat glands, which are found all over the body. They produce sweat, which is mostly water and salt, and we produce about 7 liters a day. That's a lot. That's 7 liters, so that's like almost 4 2-liter bottles of soda, but in sweat. Okay. The reason that we have those and produce those is because they help to regulate our body temperature. Okay, the other thing that this does is, well, not does, but the ducts empty onto the surface of the skin. Okay. Apocrine glands are found in the axillary and genital areas. So if you remember, the auxiliary areas, your armpits, okay, those ducts empty into hair follicles. The secretion contains fatty acids and proteins. They're milky yellowish in color. Okay, and let's see, these types of glands also don't start functioning until puberty. Okay, all right, moving on to hair. Anyways, hair's virtually useless, aside from making you look cool or making you feel bad when it starts to go away, like what I'm on the verge of experiencing. Its main function was originally to provide insulation. All mammals that have hair, that's what the hair is for, is to provide insulation and kind of an extra layer of protection. But for us, it doesn't do that function. Today, it does really 2 things. Okay, the 2 things that it does is protection of the head and eyes. Okay, so that's one thing. The second function today is actually to keep foreign particles out of your lungs. Okay, we have hairs and in our nose, that's the big one. So nose hairs are there to keep things out of inside of you. Also, ear hairs, there's hairs inside of your ear that do the same thing. So that's just to keep stuff out. Okay, hair is produced by hair follicles, and we've got some diagrams down here. The root is the portion of the hair that is enclosed in the follicle. The shaft is obviously the part that we wash and coif and clean when it's in terms of our head hair, but that is the portion of the hair projecting from the surface. So the hair that you see is called the shaft. Okay, we also have some muscles in our skin called erector pili muscles, and these muscles connect the hair follicle to dermal tissue. Okay, so if we come up back to this picture, these structures right here. So this muscle is an erector pili muscle. When it contracts, gets shorter, it pulls the root, that's this part, inside the follicle this way, causing the hair to stand up straight, and you get those goosebumps. So when you get goosebumps, you're really just flexing. Okay, types of hair. We have short and stiff hair. Do that. So that's like your eyebrows and eyelashes. Okay. The long and flexible hair is on your head. Okay, the hair all over your body is kind of a hybrid between those two. Okay, the anatomy of a hair. So we have three sections. We have the medulla, the cortex, and the cuticle. Okay, so the medulla, that is just the middle. Okay, so this middle white part. So this is a drawing, this is an actual microscope image of the medulla. So that's the center, the core of your hair. Okay, the cortex is this outside part. Okay, and it tends to wear away at the ends, and that's what causes split ends. And so now there's probably some of you that are watching right now that are checking your split ends. Oh yeah, my cortex is running away. And then we have the blue part. This blue part on the outside is called the cuticle. It's kind of like a waxy coating, so to speak. And that's what prevents it from matting. So yeah, so the cuticle is the blue on the outside. The cortex is all of this pink, and the medulla is the white center. Okay, hair pigments are also produced by melanocytes, so whether your hair is blonde or brown or red, or any variance between there, it's melanocytes. Hormones control hair growth. Okay, hair textures are caused by the shape of the shaft. So curly hair, the shaft is kind of flat and to the side. The straight hair, the shaft is round and just sticks straight up. Okay, and again, you can have variance on extremes for those. Okay, I think this is the last little bit. I don't know that there's anything else to type here, but nails are transparent and colorless. The only exceptions is the lunula. And so if you're looking at your hand, like where it looks like a half moon, kind of, so if you're looking at your fingernails right now, it's that half moon part of your fingernail. Nails are modified hooves or claws. This image, but this section right here is what we're talking about, the lunula. Okay? This whole part is just the fingernail itself. If you look at the cross section, this piece is the cuticle. I think that's about it. Fingernails are pretty simple. Thanks for coming in.